I always thought my sister would ruin my wedding. I just didn't expect her to start at the engagement party. The night was supposed to be magical. Mason had proposed 3 weeks earlier. Nothing fancy, just a sunrise hike where he dropped to one knee as the mountains lit up behind him. It was quiet, honest. So us. We planned the party a few weeks later, backyard string lights, catered tacos, old friends, and both our families. And that's when Hannah decided it was her moment too. She showed up late, hair curled like she was headed to a photo shoot. And she didn't walk in, she made an entrance. Hand on belly, giggle tucked behind her lips, her boyfriend trailing behind like a shadow. I caught her across the lawn. She smiled wide when she saw me. "Hey, Bridezilla." I laughed, nervous, but trying. "You're late." She shrugged. "Traffic." Then her hand rested on her stomach, and something in me snapped to attention. Hannah had always been dramatic, competitive, the golden child. She could turn anything into her stage, even funerals. I'm not joking. She did a spoken word at our uncle's memorial, uninvited. But tonight was supposed to be mine. Mason squeezed my hand. "Don't let her get in your head." I tried not to. But then she clinked her glass. Right as the speeches were wrapping up. Right as our friends were raising their glasses to us. And that's when she said it. "Sorry to interrupt," she trilled. I have a little announcement too." My stomach dropped. She leaned into the silence, hand again on her stomach like it was an accessory. "I'm pregnant." There was a beat. Maybe two. And then cheers. Applause. Someone actually whooped. My mom gasped, hands flying to her face. "Oh my God, Hannah. Why didn't you tell us sooner?" Hannah just smiled, turned to me, tilted her head like she pitied me. "Sorry," she said. "Guess I win." I didn't say a word. I just stared at her, that perfect smug smirk like she just scored a touchdown on my grave. And somehow, I still hugged her, congratulated her, laughed like it was fine. Later that night, in the kitchen, I lost it. Mason found me crying over the sink, my makeup streaking like melting wax. "Why does she do this?" I whispered. "Why does she need to ruin everything?" He didn't have an answer. But I did. Because Hannah had always needed to be the sun, even if it meant setting my world on fire. The next morning, my mother called me. "Oh, honey," she said breathlessly. "Wasn't last night just so special?" I hesitated. "For who?" She went quiet, just for a moment. Then she laughed like I was joking. "For both of you. Two sisters starting new chapters. Isn't that sweet?" Sweet. Right. I'd spent half the night crying in Mason's arms while she was being toasted for her surprise miracle. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was tired, hollowed out, and something deep in me whispered, "It's always been this way." Growing up, Hannah could trip over her own feet and be praised for trying. I got straight A's. "Well, you've always been the serious one." She flunked chemistry? "It's okay, baby. Science is hard." I got into NYU. "But will you be too far from your sister?" I was used to it. But this time was different. This wasn't a school play or some family dinner. This was my life, my love story, my moment. And she took it like it was nothing. And the worst part? No one seemed to notice. No one except Mason. Later that week, we were out walking, trying to clear our heads. I was spiraling about table arrangements, RSVP drama, and whether I should even invite Hannah anymore. Mason stopped mid-step. "You don't trust her, do you?" I blinked. "Of course I don't." "Then why are you acting like you do?" That hit harder than I expected. I sighed. "Because if I call her out, I look bitter, jealous, like the crazy bride stereotype." He nodded slowly. "Then don't call her out." I looked up. "What do you mean?" "Let her bury herself." I didn't fully understand what Mason meant, not until 3 days later, when a message popped up on my phone. It was from a friend of mine from high school, Mia. "Hey, saw your sister's big news." Isn't she like 10 weeks pregnant? But she and that guy only started dating 2 months ago. My stomach dropped. I did the math in my head. That didn't make sense. So I went back through Instagram, back through Hannah's stories, posts, tags, comments, and there it was. A post from exactly 13 weeks ago, where she was still posting with a different guy, Jordan, her long-time on-again, off-again boyfriend. And judging by the caption, they were very much still on at the time. I felt a cold wave wash over me, because the guy she showed up with at my party, the dad, wasn't Jordan. It was some new guy named Trevor. Something about it felt off. And for the first time, I realized maybe this wasn't about my engagement at all. Maybe this was a distraction, a cover-up. And if I was right, Hannah wasn't just selfish. She was hiding something. And I was going to find out what. The more I dug, the stranger it got. Trevor, the guy Hannah brought to my engagement party, the guy she said was the father of her baby, had no digital footprint with her. No couple selfies. No tagged photos. Not even a mutual follow on Instagram. Weird, right? Meanwhile, Jordan, her ex, their posts only stopped a few weeks ago. And when I say posts, I mean vacations, Valentine's Day gifts, kissing selfies. Not, we broke up months ago energy. I was starting to feel sick. So I did something I'm not proud of. I messaged Jordan. I waited an hour. Then 2. Then, just as I was about to give up, Jordan replied, "Wait, she's pregnant?" My heart stopped. He kept going. "She told me she was on the pill. We were still, up until like a month ago. She said she needed space, that she had stuff to figure out. I thought she meant us. I didn't know what to say. But one thing was crystal clear now. Trevor wasn't the dad. And Hannah, my sister, stood in front of 50 people, including me, and lied. Later that night, Mason and I sat across from each other at the kitchen table. He had his laptop open, showing me timelines and screenshots I'd gathered. He looked at me and said what I was already thinking. "This wasn't about you. Not really. She didn't just steal your spotlight," he said. "She used it to hide a secret." I nodded slowly. She needed a cover. Something big. So she latched onto my moment. I felt a new kind of rage rise up in my chest. She made me look small just so she wouldn't look shameful. And that's when I made my decision. No more playing nice. If she was willing to weaponize my engagement to protect her lie, then I was willing to let the truth speak for itself. I didn't have to scream. I didn't have to fight. All I had to do was invite the right people to the right place at the wrong time. 2 weeks later, I threw a small bridal brunch for my bridesmaids and close family. Low-key, sweet, all smiles. I invited Anna too, of course, because I was being the bigger person. She came glowing, bump, just starting to show under a tight white dress. Yep, white. She never missed an opportunity to make it about her. She brought Trevor, introduced him again as the dad. Everyone clapped. Everyone cooed. And then, like clockwork, Jordan walked in. I'd invited him too. The room shifted like an earthquake rolled through. Trevor stiffened. Hannah went white. My mom looked like she might faint. Jordan, bless him, walked up to Hannah and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Hey, congrats. Didn't know we were doing this." Did. Silence. "You said we were working things out. You said you needed space." Hannah stammered. He's not." But it was too late. The lie cracked, and everyone saw through it. She tried to leave. She actually grabbed her purse, turned to the door, but my aunt, of all people, stepped in. "You owe your sister an apology," she snapped, "after what you pulled at her engagement." And now this? For once in her life, someone stood up for me. Someone saw me. But I didn't say anything. I just looked Hannah in the eye and said, "You didn't have to steal my moment. You could have just told the truth." She didn't respond. Because deep down, she knew. The party was over. But the real fallout was just beginning. After the bridal brunch chaos, Hannah went silent. No texts. No calls. Not even a fake apology. Just gone. But the damage she'd done? Still there. Every time I got a call from a family member, I braced myself. Because they all had questions. So, is Jordan the dad? Was that really your sister's engagement party where she announced it? Is she okay? I didn't know what to say anymore. Honestly, I was tired of being okay so everyone else could feel okay. Because what Hannah did wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't just poor timing. It was betrayal. It was premeditated. And it was calculated. But then, the letter came. I found it in my mailbox, real paper, no return address. But I knew that handwriting instantly. It was from Mom. My stomach twisted. Ever since the brunch, she'd been weirdly quiet too. I hadn't heard a word from her. Was she mad? Embarrassed? Blaming me? I sat down at the kitchen table, heart pounding, and opened the envelope. Inside was a single page. I'll never forget what it said. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. I should have protected you. I should have stopped her. But the truth is, I've been protecting her for a long time. Since she was 16, and she came to me crying, telling me she was always in your shadow. That nothing she did ever made us proud, not like you did. And I told her that wasn't true. But I also softened things for her. I looked the other way when she lied. I downplayed it when she took things too far. I told myself I was being fair. But what I really did was teach her that love comes with loopholes. I read it 3 times before I could breathe again. Because here it was, in black and white. Proof. Not just that Hannah had always been allowed to hurt me, but that our own mother had helped create the space for her to do it. Mom continued. When she told me she was pregnant, I begged her to be honest. She said she couldn't. That Jordan wouldn't want the baby. That she'd already told Trevor. She cried. She said she was scared, and I said okay. I told her to keep it quiet and figure it out after your wedding. I told her to just stay calm. And then she walked into your party and blew it all up. That's not your fault. It's mine. I felt like my entire childhood suddenly made sense. All the times Hannah broke things and blamed me. All the times she got a slap on the wrist while I got grounded. All the tiny ways my mom evened the scales by tipping them against me. And still, I cried. Because even though she admitted it now, I would have given anything to hear her say it back then. Mason came home that night and found me still holding the letter. He didn't say anything at first, just pulled me into his arms and let me breathe. Then he whispered, "You don't owe them forgiveness. Not right now." And he was right. Because what I needed wasn't a family reconciliation. What I needed was peace. So I made another decision. My wedding was no longer about family. It was about me and Mason. Our future. Our healing. We cut the guest list. We scrapped the big ballroom. We booked a quiet villa on the coast and invited only the people who'd never made me feel small. Mom asked to come. I said yes, but only if she understood that this time, she was a guest, not a fixer. A week before the ceremony, I got a call. It was Hannah. She sounded tired, empty. "I don't expect you to forgive me," she said. "But I wanted you to know. Trevor left. Jordan won't answer my calls. I think I ruined everything." I didn't know what to say. Because, yeah, she did. But I also heard something else in her voice. Something unfamiliar. Accountability. Maybe. But it wasn't enough to rebuild what she broke. Not yet. It wasn't the finale I imagined when I first slipped on my engagement ring. But it was honest. And that meant something. Gabe and I got married on a quiet afternoon in late May, just us, a few close friends, and the thick blooms of wisteria around a tiny lakeside chapel. No big announcements, no drama, no one performing for an audience. My mom wasn't there, not because I banned her, but because I stopped chasing the version of her I used to wish for. I sent her an invitation, a handwritten one, with no expectations attached. She sent back a short reply. "Hope it's everything you dreamed. Love, Mom." No apology. No real warmth. But no poison either. That was enough. I'd learned that healing sometimes means accepting people as they are. and walking around them, not through them. She watched the wedding live stream quietly. I saw her name pop up. No comment, no emoji, just a presence. Funny how silence can sometimes be more meaningful than words. As for Lily, she made noise. Predictably, 2 weeks before the wedding, she posted her sonogram to Instagram with the caption, "Bringing the first grandchild into this world while someone else plays house hash firstborn things." The comments were a mess. Some subtle jabs, some pity. Some people tagging me and asking if I was okay. I didn't reply. Gabe didn't either. We didn't need to. Then, 2 days after our wedding, she posted again. "Not invited. Guess I was too radiant for the bride. Hope the food was bland." This time, I laughed. Not because it didn't hurt, but because I finally saw it clearly. It was all theater for her. She wasn't trying to connect. She was trying to win a game I stopped playing a long time ago. I didn't confront her. I didn't send a carefully written monologue. I just lived. I posted a photo of Gabe and me at the lake, the hem of my dress wet with water, my hands full of peonies. The caption was simple. I married the calm in the storm. And that photo told the real story. Lily eventually took her own post down. I didn't ask her to. She just did. She wasn't getting the attention she wanted anymore, and she hated that. A few months later, I heard through a cousin that Lily's boyfriend had moved back in with his ex. Apparently, he told Lily she was too much drama and that her family freaked him out. She was devastated. I didn't gloat. Honestly, I felt sorry for her because I finally saw what she really was. A scared girl who thought attention was love, who never learned that the loudest one in the room is usually the loneliest. One day, Lily sent me a long message. Not an apology, but close. "You always had something I didn't. I don't know why I kept trying to steal it. I just wanted to feel like I mattered. I'm sorry I made your day about me. I sat with it for a long time." And then I wrote back, "I hope you find what you're looking for. Truly." That was it. No sarcasm, no shade, just truth. Now, I'm not angry anymore. Gabe and I just bought a little fixer-upper with an overgrown backyard and creaky floors. Every night, we drink tea on the porch, watching the stars flicker through the trees. No spotlight, no drama, just peace. People still ask me about Lily sometimes, about the engagement party, about the smirk and the pregnancy announcement. And I always say the same thing. She thought she ruined me, but she only revealed herself. I didn't get revenge. I got something better. I got my life back.